Concerns are growing over whether the National Police Service is grappling with severe underfunding after some commanders admitted that they often turn to civilians to fuel police vehicles or even lend their own cars for police operations, particularly in the final days of each month. While Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has defended the practice, dismissing claims that it amounts to corruption, his remarks have triggered outrage, with critics questioning why taxpayers should shoulder the burden twice, as well as who should be held accountable for the shortfall in police funding. Murkomen's stance has also sparked fears that it could encourage police officers to demand bribes or disadvantage citizens unable to shoulder the extra cost yet still depend on police for protection. Our reporter David Mudhoka now takes a closer look at a debate that has opened a fresh can of worms over funding, accountability, and the future of policing in the country.
If a police officer gets stuck and asks either business community or a member of public who has the capacity, forget about even the fuel, who has the capacity to give their car just to deal with an emergency or to contribute fuel to support operation of police, does that amount to corruption?
It is this question posed recently by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen that prompted several police officers in the Nyanza region to reveal the dire realities at their stations, especially in the final days of each month.
There was a time when I just reported here, mafuta iliisha on 19th of that month, on 19th of May.
Yeah.
And I remember mtu alikuja station na anataka usaidizi. Hakuna kudanganyana, tuweke mafuta.
I'm always relying on members of the public for sympathy. Napata mwili iko mahali, I request members of the public mwenye ako na pick up. Also nisaidie na fueled.
Responding to these revelations, Murkomen defended the officers, dismissing corruption claims.
Is it news that mafuta ya police for the longest inaisha before the end of the month? It's public knowledge. The allocation we give our police officers is 450 liters. Alafu polisi akisema mafuta imeisha unaita yeye corrupt.
But his stance is raising sharp financial and legal questions, chief among them, who should be held accountable for the apparent underfunding of the National Police Service.
Parliament, together with National Treasury, needs to increase the allocation for the National Police Service, because you look at the expansiveness of the service in terms of how grounded the services they provide are, all the way to the lowest unit. And so when you don't facilitate them sufficiently in terms of their budgetary allocation, then you'll have this kind of challenges where the public now is being required to support.
We are overthinking. The government has always tried their level best to provide police with, even if you look at the budget allocation for Office of the President, much of it is going to police.
Yeah.
And government has seen a lot of money. So we cannot say government has not put in a lot of money.
An analysis of the police budget in the past 5 years shows allocations rising and falling. 100 billion shillings in 2021-2022, 122 billion shillings in 2022-2023, 113 billion shillings in 2023-2024, 116 billion shillings in 2024-2025, and 125 billion shillings in the current financial year. On Friday, CS Murkomen said this year's allocation would henceforth be increased.
We have agreed with Treasury that the allocation per month should move from 450 at least to 650 to start with, to assist our police officers to songa mbele.
Meanwhile, concerns are spreading beyond the police. The Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo recently revealed similar struggles at the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights.
I've seen situations that their cars are literally grounded. They cannot even go to the streets because sometimes we have walked with them to see the situation in protests. Because as we don't have, government vehicles to move around freely. And so we have gone around with them in police stations. We have gone around to hotspots to see what's happening, the mistreatment, and how police are behaving against protesters.
At the same time, critics warn Murkomen's position could embolden rogue officers to demand bribes and deny critical services to Kenyans unable to fuel police vehicles.
In as much as in Kenya we have that kind of a culture, it's not a culture that should be promoted, because then we may have a challenge where services will not be delivered fairly and effectively.
These are very rare cases. It's just that the CS admitted that it is possible, it can happen. Any Kenyan that the police will ask to fuel a vehicle and he thinks the police officer is simply becoming cheeky, let him report that officer and action will be taken. But there are circumstances when they are really, really down and there is very little you can do.
Former police spokesperson Charles Owino also defended the Interior CS, insisting Murkomen was simply being candid.
So let's assume you have a relative who has drowned, and the vendor, the petrol station owner says, no, you have too much debt, we cannot issue it fuel. The family may reasonably decide, let us fuel the car, the vehicle, so that we can be able to take this body to the morgue. But it is not an avenue for any police officer to ask for police vehicle to be fueled. Yeah. It can only happen where, in unavoidable circumstance, completely unavoidable circumstance.
David Muthoka, NTV.